killer. But now we turn against each other. We turn to the ill-hearted citizen, killing each other day and night. Let us not blame the police. And we have allocated enough resources to the police. Let us stop the hypocrisy politician. Let us be truthful. We increase our allocation. The police and the security have been suffering for the past 22 years. They are sent to work in the farm, which has not happened to them during this current regime. Let's stop the hypocrisy. Let the police work and control the border. Politicians, we will judge of our behaviors. What is happening is not about party issue. It needs a collective responsibility of every.
Thank you. Thank you, nominated member Fatu Kejar. I now invite the member for Tumanna. The member for Tumanna.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will also say inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Honorable Speaker, I would first of all thank the mover of the motion for bringing our attention to this important matter of the day. Definitely speaking, it's too disheartening, it's sorrowful what is really happening in the Gambia. And definitely we will show our solidarity to the families of the departed souls. Definitely it's very, very gruesome. It's very, very inhuman, killing your fellow brothers or your sisters. Definitely is really unfortunate. Honorable Speaker, we will equally join some of my colleagues that are calling on the government to redouble up their effort. Yes, we all know what the government is doing. And if we want to take comparison, we know where we are coming from. And we know where we are today. Even the security officers, they themselves know that they are now enjoying more than 10 years ago. Of course, if you laugh, no problem, you laugh. But it's an issue of, this is the hard fact. This is the hard fact. Let us not play the glory and tend to politicize issues. This is the hard fact. You know, the thing is, government is doing a lot of effort, is putting a lot of effort, and the parliament also is giving the security sector the budget, even though the budget might not be enough, but of course they are giving. So the thing is, this security is a collective responsibility. Government has a role to play, and we as citizens have a role to play. And definitely speaking, our role as citizens is also lacking, because these people are coming from our homes. We all know it is that they are our brothers and sisters who have the gut. Just you tend to be say that I don't care. In that process, you tend to kill somebody. It's just unfortunate. So we need to guide our people. We need to discipline our children in a way and manner that is going to help them in future. But right now, the way things are going is unfortunate. This still is not the...
Thank you very much. I now invite the member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and I also thank the mover of these very important matters of the day. It's a big concern, both in the provinces as well as in the urban areas, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my Imam friend who spoke earlier, I expected him to speak on moral breakdown, lack of social control, or social breakdown. But he has diverted from that and went to attack democracy. And democracy has nothing to do with what we are dealing with here. Honorable Speaker, we expect our priests and our imams to continue preaching. They are doing a very good job. But they should concentrate on building the moral mind of our young people. That will help us a great deal, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are many reasons why there are violent crimes, why there are crimes. One of the major ones is lack of employment for our young people. We must make our young people to be busy. We should not allow them to be idle, just to be drinking at on the roadside. Idle minds engage in useless matters. So if you allow your young people not to be employed, they will go into other social vices. Honorable Speaker, lack of jobs is a major concern in this country. Young people must be employed. We cannot depend on trying to send people to the outside through this back way and kill. Our people are being killed there. We must be mindful of that. So let's look into every issue, every plan that can make our people to be employed. Honorable Speaker, poverty and inequality is not good in a society. When it happens, it increases the crime rate. Honorable Speaker, slow justice, like my honorable sister has said, creates gaps, and those gaps also create violence among people. If you send your case to the court and it takes 3 years, for example, the honorable member from Central Bible is talking about land, the land crisis. You send your people to court and they are fighting over a land, and then it takes you 10 years. You know, and then the other person goes to build something there. It will create crisis, and these are the crises that also cause. Honorable Speaker, drugs must be controlled. Kush in this country is alarming. Tramadol should be controlled. When you take tramadol and then you are not yourself anymore. You can do anything. So we must make sure that we control our drugs, especially drugs like tramadol and course. Honorable Speaker, cattle theft is rampant in the provinces, and we must control it. If you take my cattle away and I follow you.
Thank you very much. I now invite the member for Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Let me join my colleagues to thank the member for Kiang East for this matter of the day. Honorable Speaker, I do not want to speak earlier on, but for some intervention I have to speak, because being the Vice Chair of the Defense and Security. Honorable Chair, I think anybody in this, on the floor of this House, should thank the Gambia Police Force. All the crimes that are happening in this country is happening in the absence of the police. But at the end of the day, before 24 hours, the police force will definitely handle the culprit with unlimited resources. But what can the police do at the end of the day? Is to apprehend the individual. But the next step is not the responsibility of the police. That is not the responsibility of the police. The police force are doing exceptionally well in this country. Recently, we just came from a talk. With the environment the police are, with the environment, it's very serious. But we know that any crime that happens in this country, they will apprehend the culprit. So we cannot be at the floor of the House here trying to discredit the police. Please, the next budget, let's look at a security budget and make sure the security agencies are given the necessary budget they need. You go to a whole region, you have only one vehicle for a whole region, and you want the police to be effective. How can they be effective? And we are here, where they table the budget, where we divide the cake, when it comes to we don't even look at the budget at security lens. And we tend to blame the police. We cannot blame the police, please. Under the Speaker, the other issue is, we are talking about the issue of death, murder in this country. We have a constitution. We understand there's a death penalty still existing. But the president made a moratorium of changing the death penalty to life imprisonment. And if you look at section 18 of the Constitution, it is saying the National Assembly shall, within 10 years, you know now it's after 10 years, within 10 years, from the day of the coming into force of this constitution to review the desirability or otherwise of the total abolition of the death penalty. With the current situation, did we need to abolish it? I don't think. Let me tell you, one migrant
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, I have the majority leader and serving orders. And time have elapsed. I will now allow the majority leader, then we do it from there.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for being considerate. Honorable Speaker, let me thank the mover of the matter of the day. This is Samba One House. This is very, very important, and we thank him for bringing this particular matter of the day. And of course, I join my colleagues to pray for the departed souls to rest in perfect peace, and may Allah grant them not without. Honorable Speaker, security is everyone's business. It's not solely on government. Who is government? Government are the people. We are the government here. We just select small proportion of among us to steer the affairs of the country on our behalf. But the burden is on everybody. Honorable Speaker, security starts from our homes. The way you nurture, the way you upbring your child. Every child should be a reference to a family. Every child should be an ambassador to a family. Martin Luther King once said, what you eat doesn't define you, but what comes out of you say a lot about you. So, Honorable Speaker, I think what is important is that everybody comes from homes, everybody comes from a house. So we have to invest in the upbringing of our kids. They determine our future tomorrow. We often say that our people, our children that we are bringing today, very soon they shall be in the number of affairs in this country. So therefore, I think much has to be done by our families to make sure that we give our children a very much upbringing. Drug substances need to be controlled, which I do totally. We must make sure that we look at the control of drug and the drug abuse in the country need to be looked at, which I agree. But I want to salute the effort of our police security, anti-crime units, men in uniform. We appreciate their effort. No matter how little, we must appreciate. The devil lies in the judiciary process, as alluded by the member Fatima Jawara, and also, of course, Wuli West MP. We must come with an amendment to our criminal offensive bill that henceforth, murder case should not last more than 30 days in the court. Just for this. Telling this parliament to come with an amendment to say that a murder case cannot be lingering in the court more than 1 month. Because what is happening is hypocrisy. West has active death penalty.
Thank you. Thank you, Majority. It's unfortunate. Huh? Honorable members, thank you. I wish everybody participate, but unfortunately, we are constrained by time. It's only 35, and I did have to give some people. I apologize to those who have not.
Honorable Speaker, number 4, Senator says you give 5 minutes to end. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I want to thank everybody for participating and the member for Kiang East for that statement. Clerk, we may proceed. Now, in accordance with Honorable members, Clerk, wait, I intend to vary the order paper. Honorable members, order in accordance with order 14.3. In accordance with order 14.3, I hereby order vary the order paper to allow the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Regional Integration to attend to his matters. Clerk, may proceed.
Bill, Standing Order 66, second reading of the Labor Amendment Bill 2026 by the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment.
Honorable members, you will recall that the first reading of the Gambia immigration Honorable members, order. Honorable members will recall that the first reading of the Labor Amendment Bill 2026 was done on Tuesday, 16 June 2026, and today is appointed for the second reading in accordance with Standing Order 66 of 2. Therefore, pursuant to Order 67 of the Standing Orders, I now invite the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment to move a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled Labor Amendment Bill 2026. Honorable Minister, you may move to the podium.
Honorable Speaker, good morning. On both sides of the House, I rise to move that the Labor Act Amendment Bill 2026 be read a second time. Honorable Speaker, sir, the bill seeks to amend the Labor Act 2023 to address a critical regulatory gap concerning the recruitment and deployment of Gambian migrant workers to countries where bilateral labor agreements are not yet in place. The Labor Act 2023 prioritizes safe migration through formal bilateral labor agreement with receiving countries. However, negotiating and concluding bilateral labor agreement is a lengthy diplomatic and legal process. While significant employment opportunities continue to exist in non-bilateral labor agreement countries, the absence of a licensing and monitoring framework for private recruitment agencies operating in these corridors have left Gambian workers vulnerable to unregulated practices, including contract substitutions, excessive recruitment fees, poor working conditions, and lack of legal recourse. It has also limited the ability of the government to monitor the recruitment activities, enforce standards, mandate pre-departure orientations, and provide effective consular support to distressed workers abroad. This bill therefore seeks to introduce a regulatory pathway for recruitment to non-bilateral labor agreements countries by establishing a licensing, monitoring, and accountability framework for private recruitment agencies. The amendment will move migrant workers from informal and unregulated channels into the formal sector, thereby granting them access to government protection, standardized contracts, legal remedies. It also enabled the government to proactively manage risks associated with migration to non-bilateral labor agreement countries and introduce safeguards to ensure recruitment is responsible and ethical. The objective of the amendment is to facilitate safe labor migration and protect Gambian workers from exploitation, strengthen remittance inflows and skill transfer, thereby supporting national development and household resilience, align the Gambia Labor Migration Framework with the National Employment Policy and Action Plan 2022-2026 and the National Development Plan 2023-2027, and E, enhance accountability by licensing private recruitment agencies, enforcing compliance, and ensuring that recruitment practices meet international labor standards. The overarching objective of this bill is to secure a balanced and protective labor migration system that expands opportunities for Gambian workers abroad while safeguarding their rights, strengthening national oversight, and contributing to economic growth and social stability. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, any seconder? Majority Leader and member for Kantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I rise to second the motion for the second reading of the Labour Amendment Bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill is really apt. It addresses some lacunas in the legislation, particularly to address the interests of our own citizens that will represent this in this hollow chamber. It's important that when going into bilateral agreement with foreign countries, we must put the interests of our citizens first. And without this legal instrument, we will not be able to make sure that there is adequate protection of our citizen interests when they migrate or when they integrate in a foreign land. And I want to call upon each and every one of us here in this hollow chamber, that is a minor amendment. They intend to really address the issue affecting France, only on France. So for the Parliament to give its full blessing and also expedite the process by referring this particular bill to ABC for committal of the whole House for us to look at it. Hence, it's just one clause amendment. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm calling on your office and, of course, the two sides of the House to really look at this bill that is just a minor amendment, and then after the debate on its merits and objectives or principle, for the Honorable House to refer it directly to ABC for committal to the whole House. And in fact, I will even further appeal that this bill has come to this assembly, it debated, and we have passed it. So it's just an amendment. So we'll just end here, and just second and end it, and further take it to committee. So therefore, I'm moving a motion for the bill to be committed for ABC for committee of the whole House. Thank you very much.
No, honorable members. No, the majority leader didn't come properly. Yes, majority leader.
Speaker, please. Yes, Honorable Speaker, please. I want to move a motion for the bill to be committed to ABC for further committal to the committee of the whole House. No, without debate.
Any seconder? Nominated member Kevalan Fofa.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the bill be committed to ABC without debate.
Let's say no. Let's protest. No. Order. Honorable members. No. The motion is without debate. Yeah, come properly.
Honorable Speaker, that is what I seconded. That we commit the bill directly without any debate. It's just a minor amendment. Yes.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order. There is a motion on the floor. Point of order, speak. Order, honorable members, order, please. Yes, can we hear the point of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, debate of motions and amendments. All right. When the motion has been moved and seconded in the assembly, the speaker shall put the question thereon to the assembly in the same terms as the motion. Debate may then take place upon that question and may continue. Please, can you allow me to learn?
Members, order.
Please. The honorable members may continue to so long as any member wishes to speak who is entitled to do so, subject to any time allocation applied by the Assembly Business Committee. Now, our law says that any bill that comes here during second reading, members are obliged, they have right to debate on it. Who are you to deny us? Who are you to deny us? It's our right to debate on it.
Honorable members, order. Order. Honorable members, the order is not sustained. Who is out of order? It's not sustained. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Labor Amendment Bill 2026 be considered in the second reading without debate. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no.
No.
The ayes have it. Honorable members, there is division called by the member of Central Baribu. Now can we vote? Honorable members, those in favor of the motion, please raise your tags. Those in favor of the motion. Those not in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Those abstaining, order, honorable members, those abstaining. Yeah. Member for Woolies, you are voting twice. Huh? Now we have abstention. That's why I say you are voting twice. Yes. Yes, we know, we were done with that, and then I called for abstention. Yes. That's why I said you are voting twice. Honorable members, the result is as follows. Ayes 17, noes 3, abstention 0. The ayes have it. So the motion is carried. Honorable members, point of order, Honorable Speaker. There is a point of order from Central Body.
Honorable Speaker, second reading. Order 57. On a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and principle of the bill may be debated. Please, can I come? 2, if the motion is carried, the clerk shall read about the subtitle of the bill and shall declare it to have been read for the second time. 3, on the motion for the second reading of a bill, an amendment may be proposed, but this time we don't have any amendment. Honorable Speaker, we should be allowed to debate on this motion. This is a bill, this is the second reading of the bill, the general merits must be debated. No, your motion is not right.
Honorable members, order. Honorable member for Central Baribu. You just want to waste the time of the House. The motion was raised, seconded, we voted, you called for division, counted, the motion lost. Sorry, the motion is carried. The motion is carried and you are still raising point of order on that. No, you are out of order. Please don't do that. Honorable members, in accordance with Order 67, Sub 1 of the Standing Orders, honorable members, now that no debate, now I invite the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment to respond to issues and round of the debate, of course, to thank members. There was no debate, but to thank members. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, I stand before you to thank the whole House, both sides of the House, on behalf of the Executive for the consideration of this important bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Labor Amendment Bill 2026 be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Labor Amendment Bill 2026.
Honorable members, in accordance with Order 68, Sub 1 of the Standing Orders, the bill is hereby referred to the Assembly Business Committee for committal to either a committee or committee of the whole Assembly. Thank you. Honorable Minister, I want to thank you sincerely for that. Thank you very much. Clerk, you may proceed.
Laying of papers and reports. Report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Trade Regional Integration on the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable member. Honorable member, the chairperson of the chairman of trade, who is laying the report?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to lay this important report. Honorable Speaker, as the chairperson of the Select Committee on Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, I hereby rise to lay before this humble assembly the report on the the report on the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency Amendment Bill 2025 for consideration and approval. Honorable Speaker, I will try my best to summarize the report. Acknowledgement, Honorable Speaker. On page 2, the Select Committee on Trade and Regional Integration of the National Assembly of the Gambia wishes to express its profound appreciation to all institutions, stakeholders, and individuals who contributed successfully to the scrutiny of the bill entitled the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency Amendment Bill 2025. Honorable Speaker, the committee particularly acknowledges the invaluable support, guidance provided by the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the administrative, technical, and logistical assistance rendered throughout the committee's consideration of the bill. The professionalism and dedication of the committee clerks and support staff greatly facilitated the work for the committee. Honorable Speaker, the committee also extends sincere gratitude to the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment for presenting the bill and providing the necessary policy explanation and clarifications regarding the proposed amendments. The committee appreciates the Ministry's commitment, Honorable Speaker, to strengthening the investment and export promotion framework for the Gambia. Special appreciation is also equally extended to the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GAIPA, for its technical input, cooperation, and detailed engagement with the committee during the scrutiny process. The agency contributions were instrumental in enhancing the committee's understanding of the operational and policy implications of the proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, introduction on page 4. On the second reading of the Gambia Investment Amendment Bill 2025, honorable members debated on the general merits and principles of the bill. The bill was then read for the second time and was referred to the Assembly Business Committee for committal to the relevant committee or committees as dictated by Standing Order 68. The Assembly Business Committee remitted the bill to the Select Committee on Trade and Regional Integration. In this regard, Honorable Speaker, the committee convened a meeting on the 9th April 2026 to strategize and identify a way forward on scrutinizing the bill to fulfill its mandate as prescribed by Standing Order 69, which provides the procedural guidelines to perform its tasks. Honorable Speaker, during this meeting, the committee considered the prudence of calling on the person in charge of the bill and team as the first witnesses to provide evidence on the bill. This gave honorable members of the committee, Honorable Speaker, the chance to clear all issues raised before engaging other relevant stakeholders. This report also provides a summary of evidences gathered from witnesses. All the proposals for amendments were also captured, Honorable Speaker, for ACE reference for members in scrutinizing the bill for approval at the consideration stage. In this context, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the provision of the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025, which seeks to amend Act Number 20 of 2015. It reviewed the proposed amendments aimed at strengthening the investment and export promotion framework of the Gambia in line with the national development priorities, regional integration commitments, and emerging global investment trends. The committee noted the bill intends to modernize the legal and institutional framework governing investment promotion and facilitation, improving investor confidence, enhance export competitiveness, and align the investment regime with sustainable development objectives. Honorable Speaker, the mandate of the committee and the methodology took during the consultation can be found on page 5. I refer the Honorable House to that page. And then, Honorable Speaker, the composition of the committee, I also humbly refer the Assembly to page 6. It will be found there. The committee comprises of Honorable Keba Diallo, who is the chairperson, Honorable Fatou Cham, vice chairperson, Honorable Abdul Sow, member, Honorable Haruna Bari, member, Honorable Alabi Mo, member, Honorable Lamin Sise, member, Honorable Modlamin Biba, a member, Honorable Famara Sabali, a member, Honorable Sekuba, a member, Honorable Fali M. Kora, a member, Honorable Keba T. Sane, a member, Honorable Suleiman Saho, a member. Honorable Speaker, it was an oversight. We co-opted one honorable member who was Honorable Alabi Babu Sise, a co-opted member. Honorable Speaker, the support staff, Mr. Ibrahim Jao, Assistant Senior Committee Clerk, Mr. Amadou Ba, Legal Officer, Ms. Fatou Keta, Committee Clerk, Ms. Ami Baro, Research Officer, Ms. Rabu Seka, Communication Officer, Mr. Musa Sise, ICT Officer. Honorable Speaker, witnesses, I refer the Humble House to page 7. You can see the number of witnesses the committee engaged during the scrutiny of the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025. Then, Honorable Speaker, summary of evidences. Honorable Speaker, the committee was able to initiate a strategy to save time during the laying of the report, which was to bring all the evidences in a summary sort of. And Madam Speaker, I will direct the Assembly to that page, which is page 8. Summary of evidence, Honorable Speaker. The GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025 consists of 14 clauses. This bill seeks to establish a modern, coherent, and development-oriented investment framework for the Gambia that enables the attraction, retention, and expansion of responsible and sustainable development and investment. The committee further noted the following on the bill, Honorable Speaker. Institutional collaboration and coordination. The amendment of Section 27 strengthens collaboration between the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency and ministries, departments, agencies, and other public institutions. Evidence before the committee revealed that weak interagency coordination has historically delayed investment approvals and created administrative bottlenecks for investors. The proposed amendment, Honorable Speaker, therefore seeks to improve institutional cooperation, streamline investment procedures, and enhance the efficiency of investment facilitation services. Revision of investment thresholds. Honorable Speaker, the amendment of Section 38 revises the minimum investment thresholds for newly established foreign investment enterprises to $500,000 United States dollars in order to qualify for investment incentives. The committee had evidences, Honorable Speaker, that the revised threshold is intended to attract high value and sustainable investment capable of creating employment opportunities, increasing domestic productivity, and generating export earnings. Stakeholders also noted that the threshold seeks to discourage speculative or low-impact investment while encouraging long-term productive investment. Clarifications of fiscal incentives and capital goods. Honorable Speaker, the amendment of Section 39, 44, and 45 seeks to clarify the applications of important duty exemptions and redefine capital goods for purpose of investment incentives. Evidences presented, Honorable Speaker, to the committee indicated that the absence of a clear definition under the existing law had resulted in differing interpretation between implementing institutions, particularly in relation to custom administration and fiscal incentives. The proposed amendment, Honorable Speaker, therefore seeks to establish a clear legal framework for duty exemptions on productive equipment and machinery directly linked to production and service delivery activities. Introduction of special investment certificate, Honorable Speaker. The amendment of Section 48 introduces the definition of special investment certificate. The committee was informed that the special investment certificate would provide a legal mechanism for granting targeted investment incentives for a specified period, particularly for strategic or priority investment. Stakeholders stated that the provision would improve transparency and predictability in the administration of fiscal incentives. Trade facilitation and cross-border trade. Honorable Speaker, the amendment of Section 55 expands the functions of the agency to include facilitation of cross-border trade for both imports and exports. The committee noted evidence that the trade facilitation remains a critical challenge affecting regional and international trade competitiveness. Stakeholders submitted that the amendment would support trade efficiency, reduce transaction costs, and improve Gambia's participation in regional value chain under the AFCFTA and ECOWAS frameworks. Governance and representation on the board, Honorable Speaker. The amendment of Section 78 provides for the inclusion of the President of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the board. Evidence before the committee suggested that the inclusion of the private sector representative would strengthen public-private dialogue, improve stakeholder engagement, and ensure that investment promotion policies are responsive to the needs of the business community. Policy and development implications, Honorable Speaker. The committee observed that the proposed amendment have broader implications on national economic transformation, export diversification, industrial development, private sector growth, youth employment creation, and sustainable development. Evidence presented, Honorable Speaker, indicated that the bill aims to create a more predictable, transparent, and investor-friendly environment capable of attracting responsible and sustainable investments into priority sectors of the economy. The committee further noted that the bill supports the Gambia's efforts to strengthen regional integration, improve competitiveness, and position itself strategically within regional and global value chains. Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that for this August House, the committee scrutinized the bill clause by clause, give consideration where applicable, request for evidences, and proffer advice. So this could be found on pages 11 to 23. So I refer the humble house to those mentioned pages. Honorable Speaker, introduction of a new part, which also could be found on page 19. I refer the Honorable House to that. There was a justification, Honorable Speaker, for the introduction of that new part, because it was very incumbent to have that new part there. But if members doubt, they can find that attached part annex, and then the part is part 11. So it is on annex 1, page 26. Honorable Speaker, in general observation, the general observation, Honorable Speaker, could be found on page 24 for members. I refer them to that page. No, they can also find a general observation on page 4. Then, Honorable Speaker, conclusion on page 25. Then that one, Honorable Speaker, I would like to read that one. Yes, conclusion. Honorable Speaker, to conclude, the committee is convinced that the proposed amendments to the GAIPA Act 2015 represent a significant steps towards modernizing the investment and export promotion framework of the Gambia. The evidence received demonstrates that the bill seeks to improve institutional coordination, strengthen investment facilitation, clarify incentive administration, promote trade competitiveness, and align the national investment regime with the best international and regional practices. The committee, finally, Honorable Speaker, therefore recognizes the importance of the bill in supporting sustainable economic growth, private sector development, employment generation, and inclusive national development in line with the Vision 2035 and the Recovery-Focused National Development Plan. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I therefore so submit.
Any seconder? Member for Sabah Sanjal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I first want to state that I rise to second the motion and also to take part in the debate, to register my appreciation to the committee for the work done. I think the committee have really done justice to the bill. The purpose for which the bill was referred to the committee was for them to scrutinize the bill and then highlight some of the issues that needs to be addressed in the parliament so as to save time. But Honorable Speaker, there is one part that has been included in the bill that the bill seeks to be included, and I think it's something that we really need to look at. Under that part, Honorable Speaker, there is what you call facilitate and acquisition and zoning, land acquisition and zoning, support infrastructure development, provide streamlined investor services. You see, Honorable Speaker, the investors have been facing challenges sometimes when they come to the Gambia to invest. Investors cannot come with their millions to invest in this country. Just to secure a land will take them 3 months, 3 years before they secure a land. So at least it is important for us to secure, to make sure we streamline them, give GAIPA the mandate and the power to be able to have access to land that these investors are looking from them. Otherwise, the investors would not be coming with their monies, sitting, waiting for a particular department under a ministry to be wasting their time. At the end of the day, investors don't have that time to come and wait. So we need to look at these issues and address them. Let us empower GAIPA. We are just from talking about employment creation in this country. It has been a cause for alarm. So what can we do to make sure that we address it? This is what the bill seeks to address. So therefore, when we have issues of this nature, we need to fast track them. We need to fast track them. What is wrong with us? Just going straight to the committee of the whole house to make sure that we approve this line by line as soon as possible so as to create opportunities for our people, to create opportunity for the young people, for the youth, to make sure that they have the employment that they need. When investors come, they create employment, they boost the economy of the country, and that provides security as well. So this, I must thank the chairman of the committee for the wonderful work you have done, and I will not waste the time of Parliament. As far as development is concerned, I always want to state that as far as development and something that is taking this country forward is concerned, I wouldn't waste my time to support, and I will render my support to this noble report. Honorable Chair, thank you. I submit to you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sabah Sanjal. Honorable Members, it has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Trade, Regional Integration and Employment on the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so by a show of tax. There's no one? No member? In the absence of that, I'll call the mover. I'll now call upon the mover of the motion to respond and wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank our Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjal for seconding the motion, and also equally thanking the committee and the chairperson for the wonderful job that they have done during this scrutiny of the bill. Honorable Speaker, I would also take this opportunity to thank the whole side of the parliament for unanimously agreeing to pass this report and approve it. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Trade and Regional Integration on the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, you may proceed.
Laying of papers and reports. FPAC's report on the Auditor General's accounts 2021 to 2024, and the report of the audited financial statements, management letters, and activity reports of public institutions and agencies from 2020 to 2024 by the chairperson of the committee.
Honorable Chairperson, Member for Brikama and Minority Leader, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The report is about 155 pages. I'll give the reports and orders, then other parts I will only read the relevant areas. To begin with, Honorable Speaker, word at page 3. It is my honor and privilege on behalf of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly of the Gambia to present this report on the scrutiny of the Auditor General's reports on the accounts of the Government of the Gambia from the financial years ended 31st December 2021, 22, 23, and 24, together with selected auditor reports and management letters relating to public institutions and agencies. The committee undertook this exercise pursuant to Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, 1997, and the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, Section 109(2) of the Constitution empower the National Assembly to establish committees and assign functions to them for the effective discharge of their oversight responsibilities. Section 161(c) and D further mandates the Auditor General to audit a report on the public accounts of the Gambia and to bring to the attention of the National Assembly any irregularity or other matters arising from such audits. The committee also exercises its powers under Standing Order 95, which provides committees of the National Assembly with the authority necessary to conduct inquiries, summon witnesses, call for papers and records, receive evidence, and undertake investigations in discharge of their parliamentary functions. In fulfillment of these constitutional and parliamentary responsibilities, the committee conducted a comprehensive scrutiny of the Auditor General's reports on the government accounts for the financial years ended 31st December 2021, 22, 23, and 24, as well as audit reports and management letters relating to public institutions and agencies. The exercise was guided by the principle of transparency, accountability, and fiscal discipline, and prudent management of the public resources. The committee's examination revealed both commendable efforts and persistent challenges within the public financial management system, while some institutions demonstrated improvements in financial reporting, internal controls, and compliance with sectorial requirements. The committee noted recurring weaknesses in financial management, revenue administration, procurement practices, debt management,
payroll controls, asset management, and implementation of audit recommendations. Of particular concern is the persistence of several audit findings over successful financial years. The recurrence of these issues points to systematic weaknesses in internal controls, compliance mechanisms, and institutional accountability structures. Such deficiencies undermine public confidence in government institutions and expose public resources to waste, inefficiency, and potential misuse. The recommendations contained in this report are intended to address both specific audit findings and broader structural weaknesses within the public financial management framework. Their implementation will contribute significantly to improving financial governance, strengthening accountability mechanisms, and ensuring that public resources are managed lawfully, efficiently, and transparently. On behalf of the committee, I wish to express sincere appreciation to all honorable members of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee for their diligence, professionalism, and commitment throughout this exercise. I also extend gratitude to the Auditor General, the Accountant General, Permanent Secretaries, heads of public institutions, technical officers, and all witnesses who appeared before the committee and provided valuable information during the scrutiny process. I further acknowledge the invaluable support provided by the Office of the Clerk and the Committee Secretariat, whose technical and administrative assistance contributed immensely to the successful completion of this assignment. As custodians of the public accountability, we remain committed to ensuring that the public funds are managed in accordance with the law in the best interest of the Gambian people. It is therefore my expectation that the executive and all affected institutions will treat the findings and recommendations contained in this report with urgency and seriousness they deserve. I respectfully submit this report to the Assembly for consideration and adoption.
Any seconder?
Honorable Speaker.
Any seconder? Oh, you're not done? Okay.
Honorable Speaker, pardon me, I think the executive summary is long. I will skip that and then move to the introduction. The Finance and Public Accounts Committee is one of the principal oversight committees of the Committee of the National Assembly of the Gambia. Its mandate includes examination of public account scrutiny of the report of the Auditor General review of the public expenditure and monitoring of the financial accountability across ministries, departments, agencies, and other public institutions. Pursuant to Section 160 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, 1997, the Auditor General is required to audit and report on the public accounts of the Gambia, the accounts of all government offices and authorities, the accounts of the courts, the accounts of the National Assembly, and the accounts of the public enterprises. The Auditor General is also required to report to the National Assembly on any irregularities or other matters arising from the audit of public accounts. Following the laying of the Auditor General's report on the accounts of the Government of the Gambia for the years ended 3rd December 2021, 22, 23, and 24, the reports were referred to the Finance and Public Accounts Committee for detailed examination and appropriate recommendation to the Assembly. The committee undertook the scrutiny of the reports in discharge of its constitutional and parliamentary responsibility to promote the transparency, accountability, fiscal discipline, and prudent management of public resources. The review focused on the accuracy of financial reporting, compliance with applicable laws and regulations, adequacy of supporting documents, effectiveness of internal control, reliability of accounting records, management of public debt and state lending,
revenue collection and reporting, procurement compliance, payroll management, and implementation of audit recommendations. The report highlights findings arising from committee's engagement with the Auditor General, with the Accountant General, Auditor General, permanent secretaries, board controllers, technical officers, and other relevant public officials. It further provides observations and recommendations intended to address identified weaknesses and improve the overall public financial management system. The committee recognizes that effective public financial management is not merely an accounting requirement. It is central to democratic accountability, public trust, and national development. Where public funds are not properly recorded, reconciled, reported, and accounted for, the ability of the state to deliver services, implement policy, and protect public resources is weakened. The report is therefore submitted to the National Assembly for consideration, adoption, and for the action. What follows next is the methodology that was applied. I skipped that. And then on page 14, the report proper, that's chapter 1, the report of the Auditor General's report on government accounts for the years ended 31st December 2021 to 2024. And on that, we'll factor on the 2021 management data, the issues that were unresolved. And then with that, honorable members, I will read the key ones. Inaccurate accounts of the line items, miscalculation of line items, and then we go to page 3, difference in amounts disclosed as retained earnings, overdue on reconciled items, difference between cash books and note 15, page 16, failure to provide bank reconciliations, difference between cash book and general ledger, failure to submit quarterly account statement and year-end cash book, and difference in cash balance. We go to page 17. On page 17, no evidence of closed bank accounts, overdue on reconciled items. And on page 18, difference between BTL receipt in the GL and bank statement, inappropriate creation of BTL project accounts. Page 19, difference between total individual cash books and note 15, transit accounts not cleared at the end of year end, and then no evidence of fiscal risk assessment performed on the SOEs. On that, Honorable Speaker, I will read, the committee observed that the government of the Gambia approached state lending to state-owned enterprises, that the SOEs totaling 6,905,725,800. However, no evidence of fiscal risk assessment carried out by the Ministry of Finance before granting this on lending to SOEs. Details are shown in the table. And on that, the committee recommends that the permanent secretary, Ministry of Finance, should ensure that prior to approving lending, the dictates of the Public Finance Act are adhered to. No payment of state lending by state-owned enterprises. The committee observed that the list for the listed state-owned enterprises consistently fail to repay on lending loans on both principal and interest on their respective due dates to the government, totaling 266,208,476. And the details is shown. The affected SOEs are Banjul International Airport, the Brikama Power Plant, 20 Brikama Power Station, one and Brikama Power Station again, and then upgrade and expansion of the networks in the greater Banjul area. Page 20, now moving to page 21. Page 21. So on that,
Honorable Chair?
The committee,
Chair, yeah.
Can I observe, Honorable Speaker?
yes.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, understanding that the report, of the report and the debate is only allocated 1 hour. I am just suggesting that at least the chair to move to summarize so that we can also have time to debate on it. Otherwise, we will not have time because it's too huge. Thank you.
Yeah, honorable members, I want to briefly step aside, maybe allow the majority leader to come and step in. Is that okay with members? For majority leader to take over? Is that okay with members? Okay. Yes. Minority leader, yes, please go. Yes, minority leader, yes, go ahead.
I think exactly that's what I'm doing. I'm skipping a lot. Yes, but the key ones, I think the people need to hear that. Yeah, I'm skipping a lot. I said the page 20 recommendation, the committee recommend the Ministry of Finance to ensure that there are adequate policies and procedure regarding the repayment of loans on lent to state-owned enterprises, that's the SOEs. And that the minister shall adhere to dictates of Section 52 of the Public Finance Act, requiring him to prepare an annual draft report to the National Assembly on the state debt management operations, guarantee and lending activities and other arrangements entered into the previous financial year. Honorable Speaker, we go to page 22, stagnated temporal appointments. During the review of the database, it revealed that one appointed officer who were appointed since 1972 are still stagnated on temporal appointment. The committee recommends that the PMO should ensure that there is a comprehensive review and update of the national system to ensure that the system is compliant with the basic human resource management system, to including the movement employees from the temporal to permanent retirement dates, among others. Honorable Speaker, we can move to page 23. On page 23, resale of property at twice the purchase price. The committee observed that as per the deed of the assignment and the deed of the conveyance, the properties were sold by government to Mr. Ibrahim Jallo for $6 million before assessed market value within the same period. Mr. Jallo resold them for $20 million towards the original purchase price. And then on confirmed proceeds from the cattle sales is noted, and then outstanding areas on the sale of the Atlantic, I believe is the Royal Atlantic. The amounts involved $344,650,000, as well as $223,583,115, and then $121,666,855. These matters are said to be related to the assets of the former president, and therefore the committee recommends that the committee adopt the recommendation of the Special Select Committee of the National Assembly regarding the sales and disposal of the former president's assets regarding these issues. Can we also page 26, failure to pay government share of the sand mining royalties. The committee observed that Gas Mining Company exported 621 containers of 18,494.53 tons of black sand during the period under review. Per the contract agreement, the government's 60% share amounts to 832,252.85. Banks to be reviewed, so only 739,818.08 pay as royalties, leaving an outstanding balance of 92,435.77 US dollars. That is equivalent to 4,875,062.51 unpaid to government as royalties. The committee recommends that Geology Department to engage that mining company to settle the outstanding balance to the government in line with the agreement and detailed furnished to FPAC for verification within 45 days after the tabling of this report. No evidence of approved tariff of royalty rates. The committee noted a lack of evidence for approve of royalty rates, resulting in inconsistent rates being applied. And therefore, the committee recommends that the Geology Department consult with the Land Ministry to ensure that some mining royalty tariffs are approved by relevant authorities, avoiding this discretionary application of rates and evidence be provided to FPAC for verification within 60 days after tabling of the report. We go to page 27, and under that, midway, no evidence of approved fish tariff. The committee noted that the Department of Fisheries applies listed rates per kilogram of fish caught by the registered vessel after landing. However, no evidence was provided that this rate or tariffs were approved by the relevant authorities. As such, documentation was unavailable at the time of the reporting. The table indicates that under recommendation, the committee recommends that the Fisheries Department, in consultation with the Land Ministry, to ensure that the fishing tariffs are approved by relevant authorities, avoiding discretionary application of rates and evidence be provided to FPAC verification within 60 days after the tabling of the report. On areas in 10% landing fee, the committee noted a total of 289,100 kg of fish being 30% landing for the period January to March 2020 was calculated for vessel Sina Bahim, equivalent to 2,891,891, but only 950,000 was paid on 10 July 2020. The receipt number indicated having an outstanding balance of $1,931,000, which is yet to be paid. And therefore, the committee recommends that the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Fisheries, to furnish FPAC with a receipt of the aforementioned tax data in order to confirm the details of payment within 45 days after the tabling of the report. On failure to charge vessels for illegal fishing activities, the committee observed that the underlisted vessels were arrested for fishing within a prohibited zone, making them liable to fines as required by the Fisheries Act. No evidence was provided that these vessels were fined by consultative committee, nor were meeting minutes of the consultative committee on this arrest available for review. Details are shown in the table. And therefore, the committee recommends that the Permanent Secretary provide evidence of recovery to FPAC within 45 days after the tabling of the report. On release of arrested vessels, the committee observed that 3 vessels arrested for fishing within a restricted zone during the review period were released by the Honorable Minister of Fisheries, supposedly based on powers vested in him. However, Fisheries Act 2007, Section 97 and 98 does not grant the minister authority to receive offenders with established prima facie cases. He may only issue minimum fines, that is 2,250,000 per vessel, in conjunction with consultative committee. And recommendation, the committee recommends that the IGP investigate this issue to ascertain why the vessels and offenders were released without the fines being paid and without being found not guilty by the court. We go to page 32, and page 32 at the bottom, failure to prepare program-based budget statement by NDAs. The committee observed that in line with the implementation program-based budget TBB reforms, NBA should develop update program-based budget statements, identify implementation sectoral programs, activities, outputs, and indicators that are costed. Furthermore, program-based budget statements from all NDAs were provided and recommendation. The committee therefore recommends that Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs to ensure that NDAs adhere to the reform agenda implementation of the program-based budget. We go to page 34, release of, I think this also similar to the same issue. We go to page 35, illegal transshipment of fish. The committee observed that the foreign vessels were apprehended by the Gambia Navy for alleged involvement in the transshipment. However, the vessels were subsequently released by the minister without paying any fine. The details are provided in the table. The same recommendations were advanced. Overstay on contract appointment is noted. We go to page. Now, wait, I'm moving. We go to page 42. Salary increments not supported by promotion letters. The committee observed that the grades indicated on 2 promotion letters did not correspond with the records on the national system, resulting in salaries of $480,738.30 paid to those officers in 2023. Therefore, the committee recommends that the PMO should ensure that all unseen promotion letters are provided to FPAC for confirmation, and any unseen promotion letter will be considered as not genuine. Page 41. 43, sorry. 43. Dual salary payment to seconded officers. The committee observed that some government officers currently on secondment to other departments continue to receive salaries from central government. The details are shown on the table, and therefore the committee recommends that the Accountant General to notify and recover all salaries received from central government during their secondment within 60 days after the table of the report. Page 44, outstanding fines imposed on arrested vessels. The committee observed that 2023 arrested vessel data from the Gambian Navy and Consultative Committee meeting minutes revealed fines totaling $60,450,000 imposed on vessels. However, an outstanding balance of $16,950,000 was noted due to the absence of supporting payment documentation, and therefore the committee recommends that the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Fisheries, to furnish the FPAC with the receipts for the aforementioned CAC data in order to confirm the details of payment within 45 days after the payment of the report. Failure to charge vessels for illegal fishing activities. The committee observed that some vessels were arrested for specific offenses and were liable to pay a minimum fine of $250,000 as required by the Fishery Act. There was no evidence that these vessels were fined by the Consultative Committee, no meeting minutes provided for review. The committee recommends that the PS provide evidence of recovery to FPAC within 45 days after the table of this report. Unresolved enforcement of levy fines. The committee observed that unlisted vessels were deliberated upon and recommendations issued. However, there is no record of subsequent action or updated status. despite fines amounting to 53 million having been levied. The committee therefore recommends that the ministry should provide an update on status of the above mentioned vessels. We go to page 46. Audited interest, capital expenditure. The committee noted that the Ministry of Transport issued payment totaling $1,900,000 to NRA for inauguration, launching, and foundation stone laying events, but no evidence of retirement such as accountability statement, receipts, or reports was provided for audit review. Subsequently, these expenditures are classified as unretired interest, and therefore the committee recommends that the PS Ministry of Transport recover the full 1.9 million from the responsible officers, submit all retirement documentation within 30 days, and implement controls to prevent future non-retirement of interest funds. Unclear allocation of interim payment to Sankandi Karantaba Road Project, Phase 1 and 2. The committee noted that a review of procurement files for Sankandi Karantaba Kiang West Road Project, Phase 1 and 2, reviewed several interim payment certificates submitted by Guy Enterprise, the contractor, and approved by the project consultant. However, the documentation failed to clearly distinguish or allocate amounts to specific phases, that is Phase 1 and Phase 2. The committee therefore recommends that in future, all payments relating to projects with multiple phases must be accompanied with appropriate documentation, including payment certificates. Award of Kiang West Road Phase 2 contract without open competitive bidding. The committee noted that Guy Enterprise was awarded Phase 2 48-kilometer contract for the Sankandi Karantaba Kiang West project, valued at $857,841,842.15, just 6 months after receiving the Phase 1 39-kilometer contract worth $349,759,040. During the review of the Gambia Public Procurement Authority, no objection approval justified the direct award based on economies of scale, maintenance of unit rates, and compatibility, avoidance of mobilization costs, and urgency for speedy execution. However, given the substantial value and scale, the committee reviews that Phase 2 should have undergone open competitive bidding to ensure transparency, value for money, and opportunities for other contractors. At the awarding of Phase 2, Phase 1 had barely commenced and undermining the urgency claim. Moreover, until rates later increased due to a reported 30% rise in international prices, contracting the consistency rationale. And therefore, the committee recommends that all future contracts of significant value and scope be subject to open competitive bidding in full accordance with the Gambia Procurement Authority guidelines to promote transparency, competition, and optimal use of public funds. We go to page 49. Absence of bidding documentation for second phase of the project. The committee noted from review of the technical committee meeting minutes dated 18 October 2020 on the stadium phase, that's the Independence Stadium, Phase 2, revealing discussion suggested permitting recurring contractor to bid on lots. However, no bidding document or procurement files were presented to the auditor for review. Consequently, the committee is unavailable to confirm whether a competitive bidding process was conducted or assessed, the transparency and fairness of the procurement procedure, and therefore recommends that the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Youth and Sport should provide the documents to FPAC on why they fail to provide all bidding documents and supporting contract reports, including evaluation and GBA approval within 45 days after tabling of the report. Non-implementation of the CAF recommendation was noted, and lack of proper contract planning, as well as contract extension without due process. The committee noted that that's page 50, the Independence Stadium rehabilitation contract was extended to phase 2, a tune of 153,160,672.25, and phase 3, a tune of 83,568.83 without tendering. The project duration was extended without justification for the scope and time changes, and no addendum was prepared or approved by GPPA. The committee recommends that the Monitoring Committee of the National Assembly to inquire and investigate into the extension of the rehabilitation contract for phase 2 of the project and report back to the plenary with recommendation within 90 days after the tabling of the report. We go to page 52. Execution of specific work at the VIP entrance, that is the Independence Stadium still. The committee observed that phase 2 contract for the stadium renovation required the VIP entrance gate to be finished.
Chairman,
Yes?
you have this, your presentation started at 12:25, and you have only 90 minutes to wrap up, and the debate also is within that context. So right now you have only 90 minutes. Please, can you summarize so the members can have time to debate?
Yeah, I'm trying as well as that. I'm reading the key ones which I don't want to omit. It's not only the assembly, I think the general public also need to know the issue. Key issues. Prolong of contract duration. The committee observed that 2 extension to the original contract dated 9 December 2022, with construction finally completed on December 5th, which was 5 months after the second extension. Therefore, the contract as a whole took 2 years to be completed. Committee recommends the Monitoring Committee of the National Assembly to inquire and investigate into the matter and report back to the plenary within 90 days. We go to page 67, payment to officers on leave of absence without salary, and payment of salaries to staff on study leave without salaries. Honorable Speaker, now public institutions and agencies, 71. The first institutions under that page 71, Banyan EU Ostandi project. On the Banyan EU Ostandi project, I will read the key issues under that project. Increment of steering committee allowances was conducted, and then was an audit query. On page 74, award of contracts without required financial guarantees. Appointment of health consultant without proper documentation and selection criteria. Page 75, unauthorized use of restricted tendering method for procurement of trucks and improper award of contract to incompetent supplier for procurement of coconut seedling and then the trees, as well as page 76, unauthorized purchase and allocation of mobile phones. Unauthorized suspected foreign issuance of loans to steering committee members. The lists are provided in the table. Page 79, unauthorized loan issuance to project team, suspected fraudulent payment of vestive bonus amounting to about 496,000, as well as page 80, contract mismanagement and unfulfilled obligations in the innovation of Crab Island Crab Island buildings, non-delivery of accounting software resulting in potential fraudulent expenditure. Page 81, suspected fraudulent triple billing from the contractors without deliverable for Crab Island master plan, that's 380,000. Page 86, audited interest, missing distribution of list for 2,000 waste bins, still the same project. And the committee made recommendations on all these audit queries. We go to page 89, special audit report on sub-Saharan African women's empowerment and development dividend plus project. This under the Ministry of Health. Award of contract to the highest bidder, incompetent vendor and non-motor vehicle dealer, ineligible expenditure, significant overpricing, and financial losses amounting to 37,394,000. Page 90, absence of procurement documentation and rationale. Non-compliance with GPA regulations, potential conflict of interest. And 92, evidence of bid rigging, manipulation in the procurement process, and miscalculation of vehicles.
Chairman, please wrap up so that at least the remaining 10 minutes could be given to members to contribute. And also, these reports are published on the website for public to also see.
Edward Francis Road Teaching Hospital is the next institution. That's also a special audit that issues suspected fraudulent payment, improper due diligence on the hiring of finance director, suspected misrepresentation by senior procurement officer during the recruitment process, supply of diverted public funds, suspected fraudulent use of Edward Francis Small resource for personal purpose by the CMD, that's the Chief Medical Director. Suspected diversion of hospital fund by the CMD and senior procurement officer to the suppliers. Suspected fraudulent expenditure and interest as cash advance, and other queries as well. We go to the next report, and that's on the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC. For IEC, the issues are failure to remit revenues collected to the consolidated revenue, failure to use the general triplet receipt, and then the next issue for IEC, failure to use donor support fuel on election activities, significant volume of cash transaction on election expense, overpayment made to contractor, breach of GPA regulations, payment made to unidentified temporal staff, payment made to personnel not on posting list, on non-payment masters, suspected fraudulent payment of allowances, on the third funds relating to election expense, payment of monies to private personal bank accounts. I think this honorable speaker is very want to read. The committee observed that during the review of the bank statements and payment vouchers files, funds amounting to 301,323,850 relating to election expenses were paid to returning officers' private bank accounts to handle all election expenses in their respective regions. The committee therefore recommends that the IEC should open commercial bank accounts at their regional offices and not to pay payments on private bank accounts. Failure to process advance payment through the payroll system. no segregation of duties on the management of the election funds transferred to returning officers, and failure to indicate relevant dates on cash payment voucher relating to local government payment of huge amount of funds via checks. We move to the next institution, National Human Rights Commission. The issues are not much: payment of honorarium, annual budget and variance reports, environmental impact assessment approval. And then we go to the next institution, that is Office of the Ombudsman. If you want me to stop, then let me stop. I'm reporting on government accounts for years. On 10 institutions. Please, let's give him time. Please address the chair. Office of Ombudsman, the issues. Please, let's begin. Sorry. Sorry. Please, let's maintain decorum. I have alerted him about the time remaining. He's interested to finish the recommendation and the findings. Yeah. So please allow him to. Yes. Give me time to observe. This was we also have right to debate on this. Only 1 hour. Please. Please sit down. Sit down, please. Sit down, please. Just sit down, please. Sit down. Just sit down. Take your seat. Please take your seat, please. Please take your seat, please. Chair, please continue. Office of Ombudsman, the issues are on late payment of withholding tax, non-utilization of funds, as well as the loan issued without supporting documents. That's for Ombudsman. The next institution, Gambia Public Utility Regulatory Authority, PURA, testing fuel samples was an issue, and construction delay, that's the head office building, and then the staff loan. For the Gambia next institution, Gambia Public Procurement Authority, that is GPPA, discrepancies in the register of suppliers was an issue, as well as unfulfilled bond agreement on education sponsorship, payment of voucher not provided for review. Then the next institution after PURA is the National Audit Office. The National Audit Office unresolved issue is the fixed assets verification that remains the only unresolved issue. We go to the next institution, page 137, Central Bank of the Gambia. For the Central Bank, non-compliance with the CBG Act 2018, the guarantees and performance bond issues. And then the National Assembly of the Gambia is the next institution. Wrong coding of the CDF budget line, the advance payment above the required threshold, the CDF project physical verification. I think, Honorable Speaker, I beg that I read this portion. During the project verification of CDF, the committee observed that the following, that the committee observed that the constituency office in Banjul Central was established within the National Assembly members' family compound, which is contrary to the original CDF proposal. The committee also noted that milling machines procured for unstable and unoperational for nearly 2 years. At the time of verification, details are shown on the table. They are Lower Nyami, Kerkende, Bafe, Baniko, Ismaila, page 138. and then Lower Nyomi, Kerpate Kala, and then Lower Fladu Waste, Brikama Bar. Then in addition, 4 million machines procured for Jokadu, Lower Fladu Waste, each value at 380,000 were installed but have not been operational for over 1 year. Details, the Jokadu is Kirgande and the Bali Mandinka, as well as Sinku Aliu and then Brikama. Now the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority investment in Treasury was an issue. Then, Honorable Speaker, general recommendation. National Human Rights Commission is also an issue, one issue, late payment of withholding tax. For general recommendation, Honorable Speaker, strengthening financial reporting and disclosure, the Accountant General Department should ensure that all financial statements are prepared with accuracy.
Please, can you summarize now? The time is up.
That is the general recommendation.
Okay, but we can skip that because right now it's 1:30. You have only 5 minutes.
We have about, the general recommendations are based on timely bank reconciliation, disclosure and regularization of government bank accounts, clearance of transit accounts, enforcement of program-based budgeting, alignment of national planning and budgeting, improved debt and loan management, fiscal risk assessment for state lending, recovery of outstanding SOEs loan, strengthening revenue collection and reconciliation, approve of tariff fees and rates, recovery of unpaid revenues, royalties and fines, strengthening procurement compliance, management of public assets, timely submission of financial statements and supporting documents for audit, payroll data integrity, recovery of irregular payments, regular review of temporal contract appointments, management of personal liabilities, improve record management, enforcement accountability for non-compliance, implementation tracking of audit recommendation, strengthening internal audit functions, and finally, capacity building for staff. On that, and this digitalization and system integrity. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the committee, for ably presenting your report. You are left with 3 minutes out of, please, we want you to give us extra time. Please don't use your mic. If you have to go by the standing order, and of course, the time allotted on the order paper, he's left with 3 minutes. So he has used the entire 58 or 7 minutes. Right. Any seconder? Speaker. Point of order. I have list here. No, Willie is Sabah Sanjal, Kiang West, and Central Badibu. Those are the ones that raise their tags. And Speaker, please, you can't use your mic. You know they can't use your mic.
Let me use my mic.
So now I will now use my discretion to give each 3 minutes. No. For us to, so I can give each 3 minutes. Willie is, you have the floor.
Speaker,
When is your turn? Yes, we are not that. Just allow. We will give you. Please, this is not parliamentary. Please, take your seat. Honorable Speaker. Order, take your seat. When I give you time to speak, you can clear yourself. Please, Honorable Speaker, point of order. Only is please, point of order. Proceed. Only is please, proceed. Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable. Order. Proceed. Order. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
You're going to speak, everybody, sorry. Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Point of order. Point of order.
This is your order. That's what I'm saying.
Honorable Speaker, I am rising on point of order 20. Responsibility of the Speaker for order. The Speaker in the Assembly and the Chair in any committee shall be responsible for the observance of the rule of law in the Assembly and respectively. The decision upon any point of order shall not be open to appeal or any other thing.
Yes.
So, Speaker, based on this, I want you to use the powers that are vested in you.
Thank you.
To give us actually extra 2 hours and give each member at least 5 minutes to...
Please, Member for Wuli can continue. You are out of order.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. And I thank the Chair for the energy he has taken to present this report, and thank all the members of the FPAC for their wonderful work. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a very serious matter. The state is losing a lot of... Secretary, stop the noise, please. The state is losing a lot of resources, and many things are done abnormally, Honorable Speaker. If we look at the SOEs, it's alarming, Honorable Speaker. Instead of paying dividend to the state, they are taking loans from the state, and they are refusing to pay those debts. And it's taking years and years and years. How will this country develop when our own SOEs cannot pay dividend, but they are taking loans and they are spending it? Honorable Speaker, if you look at Gambia International Airport, you have the GIA taking loan, you also have Gambia International Airport's project also taking loans, up to $156 million, which has not been paid. You look at Brigamo Power Station, $49 million. How would they pay that type of loan? They give them that type of loan. How would they pay? It's not answered. Like I said, instead of paying dividend, they are owing the government a lot of areas. To the tune of, for example, GIA, $512 million. And Banjul International Airport, the same. Honorable Speaker, Royal Atlantic Residence was Atlantic Residence was priced at $334.6 million to Vodafone Company Limited. Based on the evidence before us, Honorable Speaker, there remains an area of $223 million. How will we recover that? A clear recommendation must be made to recover these funds. Honorable Speaker, if you look at page 26, failure to pay government.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member, for your contribution. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that the Honourable Assembly will consider the FPAC report on Auditor General Accounts 2021-2024 and the report on the audited financial statement, management letter, and activity report of public institutions and agencies 2020 to 2024. Those in favor, please say aye. Those in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. I now give the floor to Honourable Member for Sabak Sanjar.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will just quickly move to page 71 of the report, where you have the Banjul EU Osten project. Honorable Speaker, the Banjul EU Osten project has been a Banjul EU Sacha project. They steal all the money. All the money has been stolen by the people who were responsible. The CEO of Banjul City Council, the former, not the present one, the former CEO of Banjul City Council needs to be reprimanded. He needs to pay back the money. Look at the amount of money that they have stolen from us. According to just the small calculation that I did, I just started 1% of the calculations. Over $30 million have been stolen. This is serious. This is very, very serious. The committee observed that project funds totaling to $1,180,000 or whatsoever was to be given to the media to cover the project and the like. But instead of that, they said the mayor's town hall meetings held in 2022 was supposed to be used for that. But the money disappeared. Where does it go? So the mayor and the CEO, they need to come and answer questions. This is why this assurance committee we are talking about, we have to be very, very serious. This is serious allegations. They have taken all the money, Look at this. And one thing that is also very alarming, I think the member for, is it Mohammed Lamin Biba, something like that. He has to come and defend himself here. I'm seeing that he has also taken $33,000. Yes, he's here. He has to come and, clear himself. This is very important. As National Assembly members, we are supposed to be accountable of government accounts. So we are not expected to be mentioned. In audit reports like this, let us clear ourselves. I have also seen him. He just wrote on a document that he needs 2 machines to be supplied to villages. The supply was done, but installation is not his responsibility. You said it's not the responsibility of the National Assembly member. We need to clear these things. The mic is not working. Honorable Speaker, we need to be clear about what is happening here. The National Assembly members were not given the money to put in their pockets. The money is with the National Assembly. The procurement services is responsible for procuring those machines. The National Assembly member identifies these projects. Once you identify them, it is the responsibility of the procurement department to make sure that they are procured and supplied to the villages.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my time is not up.
Thank you very much, Member for Sebastian, for your eloquent and brilliant intervention. I cannot agree with you more.
Yeah.
I now recognize you for Kian West. Honorable Speaker, Parliament should observe something. Honorable Speaker, we are looking at government accounts of 4 years. Ministries, departments, and agencies. We want to, how long does it take NAO to audit this? How long does it take FPAC to summon these people, interrogate them, scrutinize this report? We are giving ourselves only 1 hour, only 1 hour. Only 1 hour. It's not, wallahi, it's not fair to the Gambian people. It's not. It's not fair to the Gambian people. And there is no way that tie us that we cannot free ourselves and give ourselves a whole day to debate on this. There is no way that tie us to say you cannot debate on this for a whole day or for 3 hours or for 4 hours.
Motion.
So, if that
Motion, Chair.
Point of order. Point of order. Order. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order on the 53K. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I want to move a motion for this House to consider giving us at least 2 hours or more to debate on this issue. This is of no allowed, and we want to debate on it. Sorry, with my permission, but already we have set precedents already, and people have spoken with time and 3 minutes. So please, Honorable for Kian West, can you continue? Honorable Speaker, to be fair to the chairman of the FPAC and FPAC committee members, I want to believe 1 hour was not even enough for the chairman to report on this. They have done a lot of work. So to do justice to them,
it is fair enough to give them 1 hour to hear from them. But they were constrained so much, interrogation upon interrogation, for them to conclude. But Honorable Chair, let me just highlight this important thing. Honorable Chair, mining royalties amounting to $4 million, $4,875,062.51 butut should be paid. Is Gach Abubakar Jawara, Gach. Is Gach. Page 26. Should be paid to the government and it is not paid. This is a businessman who is getting a lot of money from our natural resources, who is affiliated with the government, supporting government, sponsoring government, is having $4 million of our money. Refuse to pay mining royalties. Honorable Speaker, we must be responsible citizens. And the government must not sit on this. He must be forced to pay this money to the state. It's $4 million that he's supposed to pay.
Thank you very much. Senator Badi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Minority Leader and Chairperson of FPAC. Honorable Speaker, this is alarming. This is the worst economic crime so far of the century that we are seeing from central government and the local governments. This is not only limited to the government, the central government and its institutions, but even the local government. Honorable Speaker, we have seen cost payment of people who are not in the system. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the report has revealed diversion of funds to individual interests or their pocket, allocation of contracts without due process, GPPA is not living up to expectation, ex-staff loan not recovered, procurement challenges all over in the institutions. The central bank, which is the bankers' bank that we rely on, is also being found wanting in the report. The National Assembly, that's the decision-making body or the law-making body, but the National Assembly, how the report entails it, need to be explained. So I believe the members should be given an opportunity, because if you say a machine is procured and is in a village, a particular village, and is not in use, it's whose fault? The community demanded a machine, and the machine is given to them, and they don't use it. If you say the machine is not seen or is not available, then there could be a question. But I want FPAC to elaborate more on this, so that there should be a clarity. Honorable Speaker, the CDF, the report also shows that it's not properly used. So we need to make sure that it's revisited, and how these funds are allocated should be clear to the Gambian people. Is it given to the individual to carry it, or is the National Assembly who carry out the project? We need to know this. Honorable Speaker, the mining royalties and the funds, the fines from fisheries. Honorable Speaker, there is no transparency, and there is a lot of funds missing into this. And most of these people are linked to the government, as alluded by Honorable Member of Kiev. The government must come out. Honorable Speaker, we must resolve that these monies are paid back now. Gambia, we are not poor. We have a bunch of thieves within us who are stealing our funds, and they need to pay it. If we are ready as Parliament, we must make sure that these monies are paid now. If they are not paid now, don't hold anybody to account.
Honorable members, we have a good number of you here, and the time has elapsed since I'm told by the committee. I'm not sure what we're going to do now. Yes, 3 minutes to each the time, but the time has elapsed since. The member for Banjul Central, you have the floor. I have Banjul Central here. Banjul Central.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Unfortunately, it would have been very good if the time was extended a bit, because we have some clarifications we are to make pertaining to, the document is a bit bulky, but I just want to be specific on the National Assembly itself. Page 138, the National Assembly, in which my constituency was highlighted by the audit that constituency office was built in my family home. It was contrary to the original CDF proposal. Just for the purpose of clarity, Honorable Speaker, I was given a form, like any other member of this parliament, to identify a project of my own choosing based on my community need, and then I filled the form and took it to the assembly service. So the role of the assembly service is to execute accordingly, or to advise me if it is contrary to the policies or the frameworks, which I got to know that were not applicable at that particular moment. And the Assembly Procurement Authority designated a contractor who came. I was just supervising. Everything was done accordingly. Though it did not finish, I had to use my own funds to complete it. However, if I tell, also the entire audit team came, and all the information that they got, I was the one that provided them the information. So later on, no one came to me to speculate on anything that was ambiguous or anything about the said project. The irregularities or whatever, and stuff like that. So it was very, very, surprising and disappointing when I just saw things on the media, abruptly, just like that. I've just used public funds and built in my own family home. If I thought I was advised earlier, I would have opted for a different project. You understand? So people do not understand, because the social media now is just polluted. People will just take your picture and just say that you are corrupt and just put it out there. And the perception is that we are using public funds and using it for our own personal use. And for the records, we are not giving money for this implementation. Everything is done by assembly service. You understand? And the audit period, the assembly service for due diligence, not corruption. So now I'm looking for misappropriation, mismanagement of funds, fraudulent activity, which is very unfair on my own personality. I am a very respected personality in this country, and I think the assembly service will do the needful and come out and make people understand that we do not have any leeway when it comes to the process by which these projects are implemented. All we did was have our funds and depicted what type of project we want, and then they did the needful. And my other project is we have a 2-3 year period whereby they will come back to me to tell me some of these things whereby the resolution would have been made. But I didn't hear for anything. I just saw it appropriately on the media, which is quite unfair. So I think the service should come out and clear our needs, because our integrity is at stake. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The member for Basse, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. For me, I have to blame the assembly service, because for my case, it's almost 2 years ago or a year ago. It was on the social media. I even reported at the clerk's office. I said the assembly service should go out and clear the air, because we are accused of what we don't do. And about the CDF, we have no hand in it. It's just when we are notified that it's time for the CDF, we go back to our community for them to identify the type of project they want, based on the community's request. And when that is done, we take the forms and we fill it in their presence, we sign and submit it. And I think there are processes and procedures and requirements in parliamentary service where they also dictate based on the procurement and also on the audit unit. But what is the responsibility of the audit unit when they go out there? It is our responsibility when we have delivered the machines what they're supposed to do. Our responsibility, in fact, even the delivery is not us. It's the parliamentary staff who's doing the delivery, not us. Because the contractor they hired, they deliver those machines to those communities. We just go and make sure it has been delivered, is where our responsibility ends. So the auditors, when they go there and find the machine is there, I think this is where our responsibility ends. They cannot come back and report that, yes, it has been delivered, but it's not been used. Is that our responsibility? And when there is an audit query, the assembly service should answer those audit queries, including us, to represent our beneficiary. Our number one role is representation. We are representing our communities at parliament. So if the service is being queried at the audit, if they answer, the answer should be called to come and clear, then we are given that opportunity. And the assembly is seeing those accusations on social media. They have taken even steps to respond to those, and they know the person and president of CDF. They are even accused of taking those monies directly in our pockets, which we have not even had it. So it's responsible of the parliament service to do that. Whatever accusation they go on the parliament service, the next second they respond. But for inside of the lands, they are not doing that. And the responsibility of the parliament service is to protect and guide the process of parliament, including the parliamentarians. So I think they should take up their responsibility and act now and clear the air because our interviews are at stake and which we have no hand in it. So, and we are taking the motion, we want the assembly service to immediately make their press release to clear all the names of the accusation where we are found wanted and we have no hand in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I now invite the member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this report has exposed the government. As the saying goes, administration requires knowledge and not common sense. And what this report reveals is lack of adherence to the very instruments that are supposed to guide our institutions. Honorable Speaker, all public funds are to be reported in the appropriation bill. And what we have realized here is that some of the funds that are established by an act of parliament are underreported, such as the departmental self-raised revenues and the extra budgetary funds. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the National Assembly using the wrong code.
Musa Chav is member of the committee. Does he have right to comment in? You have already compiled the report? You have right to comment. Okay.
I have a right. And secondly, you are a National Assembly member. And secondly, Assembly member. And you give me 1 minute.
And secondly, the member for Basse, you are out of order. You are speaking, sitting down, and referring to me as chair. Member for Serekunda, please continue.
Honorable Speaker, as the saying goes, in a society where the authority is not disciplined, you don't expect discipline. And this report has exposed the lack of physical discipline from the state. Because all what the report reveals are non-adherence to the very instruments that are established to govern us. Honorable Speaker, with the issue of wrong coding, this is cross-cutting. It's in all sectors, but we were told that some of those budget lines that are using the wrong coding is a requirement from the IMF because IMF doesn't recognize those budget lines. So this tells us that we are still not independent as a country. We are dictated by the IMF and World Bank because of the loans and grants that we take, and we accept to be a least developed country, heavily indebted poor country, Honorable Speaker. I think this should be a wake-up call for the executive to start doing the needful. Like so many members have amplified, these are public funds, and these funds needs to be recovered. We were told as National Assembly that our resolutions, all what we do here is not binding. So that in itself is aiding and abetting to these crimes that are committed. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member for Jokado, you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I just want to make something clear. Pertaining to the CDF, I want the public to know that this CDF, we the NAMs, we are not the implementers. It is the parliament that is implementing all these projects. Our role as NAMs is only to identify projects within our constituencies, as there where it ends. It is the parliamentary service that will identify even the suppliers. They identify suppliers, and those suppliers went to those communities to supply these projects. So the public should know that
even a single dime from these monies does not go through us as National Assembly members. And then in Jokadu, according to the report, they have identified 3 villages. But I just want to make it clear that it is only Bali Mandinka that is in Jokadu. Kerchande is not in Jokadu, and then Sinchu Ayu is not in Jokadu. It's only Bali Mandinka that is in Jokadu, and Bali Mandinka community were the very people who identified this milling machine. I came back to the service, I informed them, they supply this milling machine. If that community is not using the milling machine for the past 2 years, it's left to them. I cannot go there to retrieve that machine. If at all the machine was not supplied, they can ask questions. But the machine is supplied, it is there. Why are they not using it? Is that my concern? That is not my concern. And I'm even appealing to the National Assembly members. I think we should stop from signing off these projects because we are not the implementers of this project. And this thing is implicating us. I think we should stop. The authority, the service should be the one who will start from A to Z. But not us. Let us just identify projects, and it is left to them now to deliver the project. When the queries come, let them come to the service and make the query. But not us. We are not the one who are implementing these projects. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I am still seeing members raising their attacks. We are not taking any more attacks because time has elapsed since. So those on the list, we are managing to exhaust the list. Even the move of the motion, I'll give you only 3 minutes because it took 1 hour. So we are allowing those on the list to exhaust, but not to take new list. I want to apologize. Member for Lower, please. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll allow him. I'll allow him. Member for Brikama South, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just want you to refer the Assembly to page 20. Yes, in respect to the issue of the SOEs, like this cumulative amount of about 6 billion and 900 million plus. Honorable Speaker, I think the issue of SOEs as far as they are concerned, more especially these 4 of these SOEs that are captured here. That is Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, GAMTEL, NAWEC, and Gambia International Airline. I think we have to look at these SOEs and understand the role they play. There is a significant payable that's supposed to be paid by the MDAs that are around. It is affecting GAMTEL seriously, NAWEC, and all these things. Honorable Speaker, one thing we need to put across, if you look at the SOEs, these 4 of them are in a serious crisis, more especially NAWEC. If you look at SOEs cumulatively in 2024, according to SOEs report, they have lost about 2.6 billion. And in 2025, there was a turnaround. They recovered and made a profit of 2.6 billion. But interestingly, now in 2024, they lost about 3.6 billion. And there was serious investment in 2025. Cap Power Ship was taken care of by the World Bank project at a tune of 1.6 billion. Government also paid 1.2 billion. And they made a profit of about 1.2 billion. But if you look at that, it's not sustainable. And one thing, in every MDA, there is an allocation for the services that these SOEs are providing. But you only apply these services and you refuse to pay them. So that's a bigger problem. And we need to make sure that we have a degree of independence as far as these SOEs are concerned. But they are established for a purpose. Because if not, the trade in which we are going to end up in privatizing them. And that's not good for the country. These are bigger problems. If you look at it within 1 year, they are able to make this turnaround through the SOE Commission. They are signing performance contract. But what government also owe them, let them pay them. But you are not paying them, applying their services. If you exhaust that, you go to the other places. It's going to be a problem. If you go to the SOE reports, you look at what people that government ordered, and this needs to be cleared. So if you come to this account, they are telling me the loan that they are taking, that assessment is primarily theirs. So we have to make sure that we protect the SOEs to our.
Honorable members, thank you. As I said, the time elapsed since, but I realize that members are not happy with the fact that most of them has been allegedly and wrongly mentioned or accused, and it's only fair to allow people to clear their names. So it's important that while members are crying to be given time for them to clear their names, so it's important that once one is accused of something, be given the opportunity to respond. So I will allow them. I'll allow members. The member for Jara West, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, what I have seen in this report, Honorable Speaker, we should work on our data. Why I said that, Honorable Speaker, I have seen in page 67 of the report, Honorable Speaker, if you may allow me, Honorable Speaker, payment of officers on leave of absence without salary. Honorable Speaker, people are on leave of absence without salary and you are receiving salary. That's total negligence, Honorable Speaker. These are a lot of money, $800,279, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think PMO need to do more to work with the Accountant General so that these are things that need to stop. And our own recommendation should be very, very strong. Yes, I have people are saying that they said our recommendations are not, valid for consideration for implementation. But Honorable Speaker, what I saw in this report, we need to do more so that we can recover all these monies. Honorable Speaker, what I also see, projects come for the people, the citizens of this country. Wherever they come from, if it's a project is in the country, it is for the benefits of the people living in the country. Honorable Speaker, I have seen also on page 71, the Banjul EU Austin project, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, many of the stakeholders were left out. The community development should have been part of the steering committee, but they are all left out. Honorable Speaker, people take these monies as they are belongings, Honorable Speaker. You are employed, you have your TOR, but you decide to do whatever you want to do without consideration that these monies are for the Gambian people, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we need to do more on this so that these monies can be recovered. People are joking in their offices, people are playing with taxpayers' money, people are playing with public money. I don't know where we are heading to, Honorable Speaker. We need to stop this immediately, Honorable Speaker. By reading this report, you can realize that there are so many discrepancies, Honorable Speaker. SOEs taking loans and government are bailing them out every day. SOEs are there to give service and then have dividend for the government. But
thank you very much. I'll now invite the member for Lower Nyomi.
Honorable Speaker, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for allowing me to take the floor. I will first thank the minority leader, that is a member for Birka Monot, for tabling this wonderful report. For me, my intervention is going to be short and precise. I'm going to just talk about the CDF, that is the Constituency Development Fund. I just want to inform the public that constituency development fund are not given to NAMS directly to be distributed. What I'm saying is it is not given to National Assembly members in cash. We all know how it works. We are given a form to fill out for our project proposals. That's how we will just mention the number of villages that are need to be benefited. It's the office of the clerk who will purchase all those equipments and take it to those villages, and then you will come and sign the delivery note. That's it. But the public thinks that all those monies are given to us to go and purchase these equipments. We are not given a penny. I want to clear that. For the people of my constituency to know, and the entire country to know. So to tell them that National Assembly members, they are not given a penny. Because some people will go to the social media and try to play politics or tarnish the image of National Assembly members, which is very, very sad. I think the office of the clerk need to come out and clear the doubt of the people so that the NAM's name will be clear. Honorable Speaker, it's very sad when they pointed a finger to a NAM that he has spent over millions, or he has received over millions. And this constituency development fund is only 500,000. So how can we spend millions? It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. And then that 500,000 is without our tax. When it is when they reduce tax, it's like
I think it is deliberate. It is deliberate. Why? Because people are doing whatever they want with public funds without no consequences. And when people know that when I do a certain wrong, nothing will come out of it, deliberately, they will do whatever they want. That's the reality. We are talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars that the government is losing. These are monies that are supposed to be spent on government projects, that are supposed to be spent on development projects. These are monies that are stolen by individuals for their individual benefits. This is very unfair. I think what the government needs to do is to follow these people. Whoever is found wanting must be followed up to pay this money by any means necessary. Gambia, I don't think is necessarily the poor as I want to believe. People are made to believe that we are poor, but looking at the average salary of a civil servant, if all these monies were available to the government and are used properly, salaries could be improved. A lot of development work could be carried out. But unfortunately, people who are in charge of these things deliberately use this money for their personal use, which is not fair. Well, for me, EFAC, your recommendations must be implemented to the letter. And I want to urge the Assembly that we follow these things up, even if it means changing some of the rules. Because the problem we have is when lay reports, when recommendations are made, recommendations cannot be, we are not binding on these people. That is as good as not laying any report, or as good as not making any recommendation. So, yeah.
So I think we need to look at ourselves and make sure that our voice, our recommendations carry weight. Otherwise, it's useless. So thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. I'll now finally give the floor to the member for Fonyi Bentankarane.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so very much. Honorable Speaker, for almost a period of 3 years without an audited report. Honorable Speaker, I wonder, with all the happenings, without audited report for 4 years, and we are only to speak on this report for a few hours, I think people should be given ample time in regards to this. And also, when the matter came, I even rejected the idea of us taking one hour for every report. Some reports are not equal. Others are heavier than others. And others are particularly made from corruption money with the EU project, Banjul project. So these are sad realities that we are seeing. But also, when it comes to constituency development fund for the National Assembly, I want to make this straightforward. I said the National Assembly has 3 functions. First, representation. Second, law-making. And third is what the oversight that we perform on institution. Now, where does the constituency development fund fit in terms of our responsibility? It is never our responsibility to build roads. It's not our responsibility to construct roads, neither build schools. Let us stick to our responsibility and remove the constituency development fund. The team of the National Assembly, they brought this just to buy me so that they will eat from the constituency development fund, and members could not notice it. So sad. So now the service team, sometimes they appoint very useless contractors. At the end of the day, it is the members that are found wanting on those matters. These are sad reality. And some of you members will be running after them and begging. I don't understand these things. I wonder, the hope of the nation lies in you. You cannot be the judge and the jury at the same time. You cannot be taking people's account and also receiving money or being given contracts or being given constituency development fund. I know no physical money is given to any member. That I know. Except through the back door. That is also very possible. But I have never seen it. So it's not certain. So now what I'm talking about is the member for Kiang East spoke on something very important, which is now, after the audited report on all the institutions that are found wanting on embezzlement, corruption, what comes next? What comes next? At the end of the day, nothing will come out of it. So this is sad as a nation. So we must know what to do and how actually who to take to account, and everybody, all the institutions, even the all of them should be called to account and taken to serious account with all their contractors, and they should pay back the state fund, and some of them should be prosecuted and sent. And this is the way forward for any serious nation that wants to build itself. So on that note, Honourable Speaker, because I am limited with terms of time, so I stop here.
Thank you, honourable members. That was it on my list. I'll now take the opportunity to call on the mover of the motion to respond to issues raised and to wind up the debate under 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, members expressed concern on the implementation of the recommendation. We hope when we set the assurance committee, that issue will be addressed. Generally, concerns were more on the CDF. Let's learn that this was 2022. It could be, some issues could be overtaken by event. The query was made in 2022 to the management, and they have to respond. Now, the next audit, the audit will find out whether this pending issue had been addressed or not. What had the National Assembly management do on this particular query? Remember, there were a lot of queries, but these were the ones that remain unanswered. The question, as honorable member for Joka to ask, this particular project was available but not operational for 2 years. The management should have gone and find out why was it not operational. The M&E should be very vigilant in the monitoring an evaluation of the project. They should not wait until after the implementation. Even at the very beginning, before the project will be implemented, they should go and supervise and see where the project should be implemented. As rightly said by the Banjul Central, it is about a building. Where are you constructing the building? You should know that location and advise. But you should not wait until when it is implemented. Then that's the time you will wait for the audit to go and see. That means without the audit, National Assembly did not even know where the location of that particular project is. So I want to say that this was the beginning. There are a lot of improvement on the management of the CDF. I believe we will not see this kind of things. These are administrative lapses. And they were put to the auditors that they were administrative lapses, not the National Assembly member. And I want us to know that as far as the committee is concerned, in fact, what we recommended is not only that time did not allow us, but our recommendation is that the committee recommends that the management strengthen governance, supervision, and monitoring of the CDS to prevent on completion, on utilization, or mistakes. Allow me on
Allow him 1 minute.
The audits did not find the members found wanting for misusing the fund. There are administrative lapses in the management, supervision, and monitoring of the implementation of the projects. And I say that this was 2022, when the project was very young. But now we are in 2020. A lot of improvement has been made on the management of the CDF. I hope this kind of things will not be there. But let people not be having the impression that these monies went to the pockets of the honorable members. The management give it to contractors, and the bidder is open bidding. The contractors will be awarded the contract, and then
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. And I want to thank each and every one of you who participated in the debate. Honorable members, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the Finance and Public Account Committee's report on the Auditor General Accounts 2021-2024 and the report on the audited financial statements, management letters, and activity reports of public institutions and agencies 2020 to 2024. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, May 2026 at 10 a.m.